So another month has passed, and with it, another Commoner Crawl here in Portland, Oregon. So today I'm here to recap the event and, of course, bring you the top 4 deck list from the event. And I gotta say, my friends, Commoner format is a heck of a drug, because Kevin Set brought this one down on Riptide. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood commoner friends. Welcome back to the channel for another installment of Dice Commando. That's right, coming to you midweek, most weeks. And hey, you know what? I've been doing pretty darn good lately. Actually, I've got a couple in the queue. The channel members have already been able to see those, deck techs and all that sort of stuff. But all that aside, we're here today to talk the April PDX Commoner Crawl. Now, this was very early in the month, and I was going to bring all this video to you last week, except we had some pretty big Commoner-related announcements, which I had to talk about Bravo last week. Starvo last week, Commoner Starvo last week. Anyway, you get it. Check that out. Going to be a beast. I'm going to change a lot of things, but that won't be here until summer. And today we are talking, like I said, about the April Commoner Crawl event. So this was a super cool one, actually. I really enjoyed this one. Not that I don't enjoy them all, but this one set aside because this Wayfinder beer out in Troutdale, very cool new spot. It's, you know, a drive from me, but not for other people. Kind of a newer-ish spot in kind of a sleepier town. It's not sleepier, it's probably not the right term, but you know, I was able to park on the street, didn't have to like fight for parking, so that didn't suck, right? And I thought this was pretty neat. Also, my wife and son were on their way back from skiing on the mountain, and they were able to stop in and had a great time. So really cool spot. Now, I do want to point out, if you're in the area, or if you want to come check out the area, the next one's actually on the west side. That's right. You don't have to cross the bridge if you're on my side of town. Well, on May 18th, we're going to be in the Nebulous Tap Room, which is in, it's in a strip mall, but it's in Beaverton. It's also a cool spot, except it's in a strip mall. Not as cool as a view as the Troutdale one, but it's a cool spot. Okay, we've been there before, and maybe if we're lucky, Kevin Set will give us some karaoke. We will see. We will see how the night goes. All right, so moving into the results of the evening, or of the day, I should say. See, I'm already on to the evening afterwards, but moving on to the day, Kevin Set took it down on a 3-1. So this was very interesting. We ended up with 3 3-1s. Kevin at 3-1 with Riptide. He went all the way through, and then met Steven, who took second place in the final. And Steven on Dromai kind of handled Riptide pretty handily there with some big 8 Centipais, and you can kind of write that script and figure out, you know, aside from, oh man, if only Death Touch were a common. So you can kind of write that script. And then me, I ended up going 3-1. I lost my first round game against a scrappy Rando Arachne, right? Web of Deceit in round 1. Very close game. I went down to 1 knowing he had a, what is it? It's not the Flick Knives, but the Flick Dagger, whatever it is. And I couldn't close it out, and he got me. So we fist bumped. And then myself and Kevin met in the last round, and I was able to eke that one out, pretty grindy, but I was able to keep him off his combo hits. So I ground that out. So yes, Riptide at number 1, Dromai at number 2, myself at number 3, and then Kevin on Katsu at number 4. Now, what's fun about this is many of these lists, save the Riptide one, we've actually seen before, going into Kevin's list, which you see across the screen right now, with some minor changes. And I also like the way he knows I like to take the pictures and look at his little, he just laid out his card. He's like, this is my equipment. I'm not going to lay out my equipment. Here's the card. I love it. Folks are starting to get the formula. So we have Arcane Polarity, went super hard into this one, knowing that Icelander's gone. Makes a lot of sense. There's no Oasis anymore. He went Arcane Polarity, 2 reds and 1 yellow. We have 2 Pouncing She and 1 She Unleashed. This actually makes a lot of sense off of the, so his play here, right, is off of making the tiger with the tiger boots and the tiger claws, right, the equipment, the battle-worn equipment. He pops the RTT kitty suite, whatever you want to call it, right? Pops those. If that hits, tutors out. Or if anything within the chain hits, he can still do the thing and pop that out, pop the boots, and then comes She Unleashed, right? So Pouncing She times 2. Of course, has Sink Below, 1 Salt the Wound, looking at Surging Strikes for red, yellow, Whelming Gust Wave, red, blue, Descendant Gust Wave, red, 2 Head Jabs, 1 Open the Center. Then going into the mix, we've got Bittering Thorns, Be Like Water, Scar for a Scar, Soul Bead, red, Ride the Tailwind, red, Leg Tap, Rising Knee, 1 red, 2 blues. And then to finish out the blues, of course, we have the balance of Soul Bead, because why wouldn't you? Wounding Blow, and then 1-2 Punch to round out Kevin's list. So Kevin, thanks again for continuing to share your list with us. I really like just the small tweaks you've made, right? Basically playing the meta on the sideboard, but keeping the rest of it functionally solid. And man, I am super lucky that when I left the Tigerland, you didn't have a card to chuck. Otherwise, the game had gone a very, very different direction. All right, so this is my deck. This is my Kassai deck. You will notice a fair amount of German cards, and shout out, you know who you are. Those were sent to me by someone, and I very much appreciate that. So thank you for that. I still do run my very angry German Kassai, right, as well as her suite. Okay, now, I don't want to go through this in super detail in terms of the logic. I'm not going to do a deck tech because I have a video for that actually that's in the queue that will be coming out here in a few weeks, assuming we don't have more stuff to talk about. So that's the whole strategy, but I will, of course, go through the list for you because that's why you're here. So I do have Lead for Speed, Outland Skirmish, and then Sharpened Steel. Those are all my front pumps. I have, in terms of the reacts, you can see them up on the right side. I did do my best to kind of group the cards in usage for you all. So we have Sink Below, we have Somersault, and then we have Fate Foreseen. In terms of the reacts, we have Swing and Out for Blood. I have a full rainbow of Hit and Run and Blade Runner. I am playing Trot Along and Nip of the Heels, the new ones, as well as the Blood Wine, because that card's stupid with Kassai. Freewheeling Renegades, you all know I love that card. Agile Engagement, and then, of course, in the sideboard or in a functional slot, depending on the matchup, we have Battlefront Bastion. You'll notice that in this particular case, I had just come off of playing Katsu. I had cited out my Iron Sun responses in the Katsu for Battlefront Bastion, and then I'm running, of course, Arcane Polarity, as well as the suite you would expect me to run, which is basically all the good warrior stuff, and then everything that's not good filled in with Blade Beckoner series on the head and the chest. All right, so that is my deck. Again, 3-1 on the day. Really, really, really close game. Kassai's good. Kassai's good. All right, now we're moving into the Dromai list with the ultimate disclaimer, folks, that this is really functionally the same list that we saw last month, except with some additional foilies, because I hooked my brother up. So we have Arcane Polarity and Oasis in this case, Scar for a Scar, Rake Red, Sweeping Blow, Skittering Sands, Billowing Mirage, the Big Senpai, Sand Cover. Sand Cover did some serious work against Riptide, and actually throughout the day, let me tell you what. Enigma Chimera does have his new favorite card that he loves, which is Outed. Absolutely loves that card. That is a very neat include, because it just works. Like, you're not marking anybody, but it still functionally works well. So we have Dunebreaker Senpai, Fate Foreseen on top of that, Ravenous Rabble, Blaze Headlong. Sigil of Solitude is a big like card for him. He really, really likes that, and it tends to do work. Again, even if stuff isn't like quote unquote on paper meta good or whatever you want to call it, if you as a player have things that you like to lean into and it fits your play style, do it. Right? Steven has very consistently been top 4ing our commoner events here on this deck, and it works. Hey, he is playing Cut Down to Size, Nimblism, and then Spears of Serenity. And I'll tell you what, in a meta where there's not a lot of poppers, well, or we don't expect to see a lot of poppers, well, Illusionist can do thing. And I think I did forget to say Dust Up. Dust Up is in there as well. But sure, most of you expected that. All right, now moving on to the final deck, what you're all here for, which is Kevin Set. That's right, taking the day on Riptide. All right, so he has the Driftwood Quiver, and he's on Barbed Castaway. Okay, Blade Beckoner Boots, Bullseye's Bracers, Blossom of Spring, and Snappies. Not even sitting down with a whole bunch of armor here. Okay. Now you will notice, got to give the shout out to Kevin, he enjoys getting his cards signed, and you see a fair amount of signatures on there. I know he's actively working on it as he gets more and more chances. We have Infecting Shot, Murkmire Grapnel, okay, times 2 of those. Virulent Touch, Infecting Shot Blue, Nip at the Heels is nice. Okay, we have Blood Rot Trap, Withering Shot, Scar for a Scar, Sickum Shot. Those are the EAs there. Nice call out. Nimblism, Withering, and then Widowmaker both on blues. Widowmaker is a great call for a blue and commoner. Still demands the 2 cards. You get the better, ratio of the buff. Frailty Trap, Sedation Shot, Falcon Wing, Salvage Shot. Salvage Shot can do some work in game, right? I learned that very painfully in an Arcane Rising Sealed in Portland, and I think that that's a great one to run because, sometimes in these games, especially against certain heroes, you end up having to go grindy. Having that Salvage Shot available is a great call. We have Scout to Periphery, Sedation Shot Blue, Sink and Fate, and then Inertia Trap. So if you look at the number of traps, right, not going super heavy, he's in an arrow-focused build, but he's got a lot of pumps with which to get the reload advantage. And obviously he was able to take down the day. And congrats, man. Riptide taking down a Commoner Crawl. That is one for the books. So anyway, my friends, those are the 4 decks that we have for the week. Again, I want to throw up again. This is the next one we have coming. It's in it's actually a little less than a month as the time that this will go live, which means that you have plenty of time to come out and join us on the west side of Portland this time, out in the burbs. Come join us, have a beer or 2. I won't promise Kevin will do karaoke, but we're going to ask him. Maybe encourage him. We will see. That's really what we're all coming out for. Not the fab, the karaoke. Either way, I'm going to end this because I'm rambling at this point and probably embarrassing Mr. Kevin. That's okay because we love the guy. And go Commando.